Welcome to the hidden world of dentistry. I'm Kevin, a dentist in Chicago, and I'm about to show you a root canal on tooth number 19. When I first started out, learning through others was the best way I knew how to improve my skills. So I hope this footage is useful to some of you. This video is captured as I work, and my field of view is much larger than what my camera can record, so I apologize if some things may be out of focus or slightly off screen. Well, all right, let's jump in. All right. Perfect. So I like to start by exposing the mesial pulp horn first, and then I'll be able to go from there to extend the access. I use the orifice opener once I know where the canals are, just to flare out the openings, so it'll make hand filing a little bit easier. Always clean as we go with the solution. Perfect, and then we use the hand file to find the length of the roots. Always cleaning as we go. Then we start with a white file, 17, on the rotary. We use the white file to hit up all the canals, one at a time. Clean after every access. Yellow, then red. Perfect. And then we clean, and then all the way to the blue. And then, yep, everything is instrumented at this point. Then we go the distal, one more to the green, 35. Check at everything looks pretty nice. Then we take this opportunity to take a final measurement here. Perfect. Awesome. And we're going to fit the green gutta-percha cones. Sure they're fitted to the length. Then we're going to put the blue ones on the mesial. Once everything is fitted, we do a final rinse, make sure everything is nice and clean. Then we dry it out with these paper points. Perfect. Usually like to use 2 paper points per canal. I like to use the previous paper point to dry off the next one, just like so. And then finally dry off with the final clean paper point. So, perfect. And then we have a dispenser that just dispenses the sealer right into the canals. Look at that. So we know that the canal is filled with sealer. We also put some sealer on our gutta-percha, put it in. Then I use my heater on a stick. Heat sear everything off, cut it off nice and clean, and make sure we pack it in tight, but don't force it in. Same thing with the mesial canals. I like to put both of them first, and then we'll seal all of them both at the same time for efficiency. It's a little bit more efficient than doing it one at a time. So after this, I will clean with, well, after I pack it in, I will like to clean it with some sodium hypochlorite, just to make sure the chamber is all clean. pardon the out of focus. Right here, we'll clean it with some sodium hypochlorite. And usually I'll use a micro brush as well. This is the end result after everything's nice and clean. Perfect. I think for this tooth, we're actually going to be doing margin elevation as well here. Or we're just going to build up a very, very deep core. Let's see here. See that the core goes, there's the decay that goes underneath this area of the tooth. We're trying to just expose more of that area of the tooth so we can clean it out. Sometimes the rubber dam's in the way and we gotta lift it up and cut through it, remove it, so we have good access the interproximal area between the teeth. There it is. It's cut away. And I can just tuck the flap away. We're giving a little bit more anesthetic here. We're actually utilizing the effect of the epinephrine. Make sure that, you know, the gums aren't as bleedy. Put a bunch of epinephrine in the area and use this gingy burr. So this burr will cut away all the gums. Perfect. Yep, once all the gums are cut away and the decay is taken care of the tooth, we will then isolate with Teflon tape. This is one of my favorite things in dentistry. This allows me, the Teflon tape I'm referring to, this allows me to honestly restore a lot of subgingival cases. I feel better about the isolation when I do. As we all know, the moisture contamination is one of the factors that causes premature failure. So we want to be able to control the moisture as best as possible. And Teflon is great in situations like this where it's very, very subgingival, where the cavity stopped underneath the gums, quite far underneath the gums. Yeah. Packing it in is another story. Not one of my favorite things to do. It's an exercise in patience and perseverance. All right, once it's in, don't jostle it too much. There you go. Perfect. You can see definitely that we do have a ring of isolation, so it's dry in this area. Perfect. Cleaning up a little bit of the decay that I see there. This is risky. We should honestly clean the decay before we pack the Teflon on, because if your burr gets caught on the Teflon, it'll pull it all out. Nice. You can see how good the isolation is there now, right here. Perfect. Also, restoring this quickly is really important. You never know when the next wave of saliva is going to come wash over you. Perfect. You can still see the isolation is nice and dry, so that's very nice. So yeah, definitely after crown lengthening, after that we're elevating the margin, I like to use flowable, and I have my assistant with the light ready. So once I say go, she hits it with light, and then I go back in with the flowable, and I tell her go, and then she hits it with more light. So you can see how quickly we are switching between flowable and the light, flowable and the light. Yep, and the rest, the bulk of the core, we can use normal bulk build-up material. This one is less time sensitive because the isolation is good. We don't need to worry too much about water or saliva contamination. Also, when I build up the side walls of a core, I just like to shape it with a micro brush, so there's less prep to do when I'm prepping for the crown. That's just a little bit of efficiency tactic that I learned. Why build it all up when you're just going to cut it back again? So, yep, as you can see, I am trying to create a pathway, so get rid of all these excess here. So when I prep it down, there's less to prep. It's more of a refinement than a comprehensive prep. Great. So once again, I start on occlusal reduction, making the tooth shorter first. Getting rid of that Teflon that was so useful to help me when it was helping me build up the core. Good. So right after we build up the core, we want to round out the proximal surface of that root to the core before you start prepping and putting a margin in there. Once you put a margin in, it's very tough to refine the side of the root there. Perfect. So very standard. We're prepping this tooth. Sorry for the focus, guys. When I look under the scope, it's in focus for my eyes, but I guess the camera is not picking up the focus here. So we're refining the margin, making sure the margin is nice. I think eventually I do get rid of this